The developers for Dune Awakening just had an AMA and asked me anything on Reddit for about 2 hours, and we have a lot of topics to cover. Over 30 different ones with full responses from the devs so we can get a grasp on what they intend for the future of Dune Awakening. I'll have a link in the video description. You can of course read through it yourself. I recommend activating here answered and you will see highlighted all of the dev responses. But yes, we're going to summarize this for you guys so you don't have to go and read through every single little bit here. I'll try to be as concise as possible without missing anything. There'll be timestamps in the video description and play bar below so you can skip to any you're most interested in. First of all is when can we expect future content updates? Well, we'll be getting quality of life updates early July, with then major updates happening every 3 to 4 months. As for adding extra contracts and like daily and weekly missions you can do, they said they'll make some improvements, make the rewards more worth it, particularly with landsraad. This is something they find the community is not really engaging that much in, probably because they're just not aware. But again, more PvE content will come with each major update. They did also add there will be new contracts added across the board. Now, as for PvP and the deep desert, particularly with the scout ornithopter, many of you are requesting that they simply remove the rocket's capabilities from it. And we can see their official response to this and also their future plans. They do not intend to overall remove rockets from the scout. They will simply make it reduce the overall maneuverability, cause it to create more heat, thus you can't spam them as often, and give a boost to the thrusters. So they will grant a maximum speed boost at all times, even while gliding. That's great and all, but if you're running the thrusters, you can barely carry any inventory with only just your personal backpack. So not sure how much of a help that will be. As for landsraad contribution, the current plan is to allow your contributions to stack week after week. So you can work towards a larger reward over time if you wanted to, rather than only being limited to the small little reward because you say can't get as much contribution within that 1 week. As for storage containers, renaming it, yes, that is planned, and it's planned overall to improve base and resource management. Vehicle naming will also come with this. There are many requests going around with, say, making the deep desert just faction versus faction. That way you will have a bunch of friendly people within the deep desert you can rely on, but that's not happening. Deep desert will always remain a PvP free-for-all. Again, here's some further notes with regards to their plans on PvP balancing, having players compete over points of interest. They acknowledge on-foot combat's not really to their liking, so there will be changes coming to that. And in terms of dungeons in the Deep Desert, there's no plan to add targeted loot systems. The Deep Desert will always be a randomized map area. Every week it becomes a different map. Loot tables change, and that's the fun of it. They will be changing notifications to have your local time, not just UTC, and they will be adding an option to extract and deposit all your water, rather than having the need to click this so many times. A few further notes here. They will not be removing friendly fire. They will not make it easier to distinguish between players and NPCs, and they will not give an option to skip all dialogue. Additionally, they will not add a mini-map. In terms of stacking storage boxes, they did say there's already a way to do this. You simply create a half wall, then a roof, and you can freely have your storage below and above. Looks a bit better when you use this storage container, as you can see here. In terms of making building easier, yes, there is plans to make it so you can very simply upgrade a building piece rather than having to demolish it first. As for your deathstill, some people are complaining about, yes, having to use corpses, and they would just like it to be able to pull a corpse from a storage box straight into your deathstill. However, the dev's response is rather amusing. The deathstill is a ritual that must be honored. Basically, it's supposed to be a little bit inconvenient versus the other ways to get water. You're going to have to go through the hassle of sorting through corpses, getting them, carrying them, and that's just the simple cost you have to suffer versus having like a wind trap. Not to say they don't have their own little bit of maintenance with regard to needing filters, but at least you can craft a ton of those and it's very simple to upkeep them. Again, player duels are confirmed to be coming, and they also will add walking without rhythm. They did state how it was a thing in the past, it's just it was a bit clunky and not that meaningful. They still feel it's not that meaningful, as again, many of you are just going to switch to vehicles as soon as you can, but they will add it for the enthusiasts. In terms of having a bigger door to say move your buggy through, they said it's not on their roadmap. This guy doesn't really want to use pentashields. I will say though, it is fully possible to drive your buggy through a 2x1 door. You just need to make sure that there's not a roof above you on the inside. As for the final trial, it requires players to essentially queue up because only one person can be in it at a time. Just make sure you bring a water bottle with enough water when you go to do that final trial. But I don't think it'll be much of an issue when there aren't so many players joining the game at the exact same time. They will look into improving it though. As for announcing a roadmap, they might, but they're more likely to just share their long-term plans over time. Keep us in the loop at what's coming, and probably not have it take the form of a static roadmap. I think this can be a little bit easier on the developers, especially when things end up required to change, and then they haven't made certain promises that they can't really break. As for more boss fights in dungeons, even including raids, they said they'll probably do it, but I doubt it's going to be anything like instance dungeons, instance raids that you'd get in, say, big MMORPGs. Now there's actually a bug here which has come to light, which is pretty good to know. If you respec your skills, it will appear that you lose your initial starting skill. I started with Mentat, and so the starting skill is this, and it will look like when you respec that you no longer have it, when in fact you do, and you lose that point, and you end up needing to spend an extra point if you want to get that skill back. It's a bug and they will be fixing it. As for new map expansions, they will definitely be doing that. There's plenty of areas in the Dune universe that there is to explore. In terms of a PvE version of the Deep Desert, no plans for it. Again, the Deep Desert is supposed to be a PvP free-for-all arena. High risk reward to get your stuff. But again, there's supposed to be alternative ways to get resources like the landsraad. And that's stated here as well as a response to this question. Of course, they will be adding new maps as an alternative way to progress, like the Haga Basin map. Again, their state on the Deep Desert and it being PvP, you do not have to engage in PvP. But of course you do run the risk of running into hostile players. And they've no plans to change that. As for the third faction, it will not be House Corino, but it is coming. As for improving the social aspect of the game and making these social hubs like the exchange being a little bit more accessible, they did say they're looking into it, just to have a little bit of an additional convenience to these features. Again, stated here how they will make the exchange a bit more accessible. They did also state how if you come here with a loaded up vehicle by, say, flying with the overworld map, then you will be able to access the inventory of that vehicle to be able to sell stuff on the exchange. As for suspensor elevators, if you have a very vertical base, these will most likely be added to the game at some point. Also added to the rift, so you can more easily get out of there without, say, having to use a carrier or going all the way to one end or the other of the rift. Particularly notable because of the sheer importance of cobalt paste. You still need it even with the plastinium products, and it only comes from mining those crystals. So yes, we can look forward to suspensor elevators. Again, for improving the social aspect of the game, they will continue to evolve these, adding more emotes, costumes, changing up social hubs, adding new content and reasons to go there. In terms of a mini-map, that's not gonna happen. You can see the story here. They think it just takes away a lot from the immersion. They would rather have you use scanners. There's also no plans at all to add a top-down building view. I know some games have this just to make it a little bit easier to build your base, like a wide zoomed out camera or the ability to even have the free roam camera while building certain pieces, but not happening here. As for like farming plants, that might happen. It would be great to farm your fibers, but yeah, maybe one day. With regards to server merges for super low populated servers, in order to address this, they will simply allow for players to freely move between sietches. And again, they're not ready right now to officially talk about the third faction. A hotkey will be coming to switch seats in your vehicles, like between the driver's seat and the buggy's cut array. They will over time be adding new building pieces, cosmetics and much more. And they will be working on ways to mitigate the loss of your vehicles if you say disconnect and end up in quicksand. I had a particularly nerve-wracking experience with this. My game crashes while I'm gliding and I log back in, sinking in quicksand. Fortunately, I was quick enough. I don't know what's up with my HP though, non-existent. And that's pretty much it for the AMA and all the important things to note. Other questions and answers were pretty much repeats of these. You can of course read through the entire thing with the link in the video description below, but yes, it's pretty extensive and you can click on answered to more easily see the dev responses. You can see the 4 developers that were there replying and their Reddit accounts. And again, these were all the different sections and there should be timestamps on the play bar below in the video description so you can skip to any of those if you missed any. So once again, a massive thank you to all my channel members for your extra support. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.